Welcome back, everyone. It is Thursday's Academy Showcase, and we're glad to have you back. If you've been here the whole time, you're amazing. If you haven't, you're amazing. That's just how it works. And we're going to be getting into our last game of the day, Joshi and Riv here, to bring you Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses. It did start with a C, though. I was close.
And an L. There's two of them right there.
Right?
You are halfway there already. So, I'm going to give you partial credit on this one. But it is, as you said, it is our final match of the day between Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses. And we've been hyping this up a little bit for most of the day, right? Both these teams are already secured in their opportunity to go to playoffs. But Cloud9 looking to maintain their huge winning streak. They haven't lost a game in 5 weeks. So these guys are looking fantastic, whereas Evil Geniuses on a 5-game winning streak of their own, and they're looking to try and take away, or at least contend for the playoff bye from Cloud9 and Dignitas.
Yeah, it would feel really good to get up there with Dig on this one. Dig had a hard-fought win today, as we see the rest of the teams moving around a little bit, but still close in the standing. Could see some tiebreakers as we come up here towards the end. Remember, LCS playoffs are different than Academy. Academy is going to follow what we have seen throughout the years of the 2 top teams grabbing the bye. The remainder of the 6 that move on to playoffs, those 4 teams will play until you get to one of the bye teams. But who will they be? We don't know just yet.
Yeah, and the big thing we're looking at from Evil Geniuses is we saw this guy last week, but we got to talk about him again. Giyu coming in, formerly Korean kid and Exile, had a little bit of a tenure on Besiktas, coming in from the Arabian region for Lebanese, and I can't wait to see what he's going to be doing. He's had 2 great games since he has joined, and honestly, like, Evil Geniuses as an Academy team looked good before, but they have been looking even better now that he's on their roster.
Yeah, for sure. Especially that the first game, we did see him pulling out the Renekton, and you were like, okay, they fell behind versus Liquid. It almost wasn't a game that they could win. And then as Liquid stumbled, the team still had the communication, the knowledge, and even the first-time stage play with him to win a game like that, which it says a lot, especially that he can keep the mentality in a game where he doesn't just crumble. So awesome to see there from his first time play. And also this huge test for Deftly and Matt as they face arguably the best bot lane in the Academy Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, King coming over from Oceania, part of that oceanic invasion, if you will, as everybody's really coming in. And, Surenfire, another big standout, but King is looking very strong. He's obviously making a name for himself in the Academy, potentially an opportunity to really start playing up as well. But Deftly and Matt, they are veterans of the game themselves. These guys have been playing throughout a number of different teams. They've separated, they've come together, they've separated, they've come together, and now currently on Evil Geniuses, they've always been a very stable ball lane. I'm expecting nothing different from them this game.
Yep. Let's see the first few bans coming out from each side. And not another bot laner. Might have seen that Xayah or Rakan. We don't see too many, though, but it's a Syndra going out. Zoe still up is one of those blind pick mids, as it is a Renekton, Tom, and Yuumi from C9. And they say set first. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. The big question for me is Evil Geniuses going to snag Misfortune here? It's one of King's most played characters at this split. It's something that definitely has in his repertoire, even if it's not something that is necessarily the biggest exciting pick for him to pick up, but instead they're going to be grabbing the Ornn, making sure that they have some late game scaling to fall back upon, as well as just this solid rock to stand in the front line. And so overall, plenty of power picks still available. Evil Geniuses can really do whatever they want.
Looking at what teams usually have for secondary bans versus Cloud9. It's usually junglers, so we'll see if actually Nori gets his in this first set, or Cloud9 stays true to allowing the jungle to stay up and they get a few of their solo lanes more so. Nautilus was picked up on the side of Evil Geniuses. 10 seconds on the first pick of Cloud9. And may show us a bot laner of what will be in that marksman lane, and it is going to be an Ezreal. And it's just going to be the Braum, so they actually leave up quite a bit towards the mid lane and jungle.
Yeah, I'm not expecting this brand to get locked in. It has received some buffs to its ability to jungle, but I haven't seen that making a whole lot of waves just quite yet.
Love it.
It would be very interesting to see it come out, but this does leave the Misfortune available. I mean, Nautilus Misfortune has a lot of power, and Kai'Sa, once again, being toyed with. The brand, they are really hovering this. But the Kai'Sa makes a little bit more sense. Again, the same classic lane as we saw from last game.
I miss stuff like Brand as well. He's one of the champions that you can be like, oh, he's in a tight situation, but then he just like stun locks somebody and blows him up from 100 to 0. Like, oh yeah, it's passive damage and Brand.
Yeah, and it's just, it doesn't matter if you catch him, he just presses R, and as long as you have time to do that, it's like, all right, well, bounce between two people, and now they're both gone. But the Olaf gonna get banned away, just as you were saying, banning away targets at Inori. So there's lots of things he can still do. Notably, he doesn't play, or has not played Sejuani this split effectively. So I'm expecting a little bit more aggressive bans towards him, like the Olaf, and maybe like Lee Sin and Jarvan.
It's funny, the last two, Liquid and Dig in Week 8 banned Sejuani against Cloud9, and you're right, he doesn't play Sejuani. He played it in a loss in Week 6. So maybe
True.
That's why. Oh no, I'm looking at Evil Geniuses as I have my stats backwards.
Oops.
But yeah, no Sejuani. I was surprised to see a Sejuani, and I actually had to check the team I was looking at.
Yeah.
Like, no, he was right. He was right.
Inori is just a very aggressive jungler, just in general. He likes to play these big carries. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one to bring out, we talk about contract Graves. I wouldn't be surprised if Inori was going to bring out something like that in this game, but the Trundle also been banned away. So it sounds like they're trying to get Cloud9 to ban the Sejuani themselves so that Ana doesn't play. Because again, Trundle, one of the big counters. There you go.
Yep.
Yep.
Inori's like, I don't want that thing. No way. Not today. Thank you very much. And definitely we'll be locking in here. 15 seconds.
Rek'Sai, Elise, or Gragas.
Quite a bit of time. Looks like we might see that Elise getting locked in. Rek'Sai, Gragas on the other side. A possible Jarvan for Inori. He does play the aggressive flag and drag.
Yeah, would be all right. Not the most exciting thing with the Cloud9 roster thus far, but there's still opportunities to pick up things like an Orianna and just turn this composition into a huge team-fighting team. So ultimately, wouldn't be terribly surprised. It definitely seems to fit into Inori's wheelhouse overall, but Cloud9 have not shown us a whole lot about what their composition wants to do, and that's one of the power things about picking up these powerful top laners and grabbing a bot lane that's just generally strong. And Palafox looking to pick up the LeBlanc. I love it.
A lot of movement on this team. I feel like the Jarvan would fit in here well if Palafox can get in and out of that Cataclysm. Also, there's 3 plays for Inori's Jarvan in their win streak so far since week 4. If it's a total of 10 wins straight.
Yeah, crazy. So we'll see what ends up happening. The Rek'Sai is going to get locked in, so lots of, again, this isn't necessarily a criticism of the team because it is a lot of power, but it again kind of looks like a solo queue-esque composition. You're looking at a lot of individual power plays, right? So all of them are looking to step up and really make themselves felt on the board because overall this team is looking to split the board and let people play the way that they want to. Whereas Evil Geniuses, again, has the very traditional front to back with an assassin style of team fight. And so it really comes down to, are the C9 laners strong enough to get the lane kingdom, build up the lead early on in the game, and force Evil Geniuses to split the map? Or will Evil Geniuses hold and be able to barrel down the mid lane and just force team fights over and over again?
We'll have to see. Just looking at some of the unique picks. We'll have to look at a few more as we get into game. Fudge only having a few on the set, but he's enjoying that one. Palafox back to the LeBlanc. We don't usually see it too much from him, so I feel like everybody's getting a bit of like wheelhouse comfort in. You don't really have too much to worry about at 12 and 4, but they play so strong. It's not like they're throwing anything to the wayside, right? Whatever champs they're going to pick, they're going to be able to play, and that's the scary thing about this Cloud9 roster.
Yeah, Cloud9 has always had a history of their academy rosters looking fantastic. Just the scouting that the management brings to the table is great. And a lot of these players, Fudge, I don't remember even seeing him before this spring split, but Inori, Palafox, King, Diamond, like all of these guys have always been kind of hovering around. Some of them have moved up to LCS. A bunch of them have had opportunities to prove themselves, but they just come together and they are working so well as a group. And also have to give some credit to the coaching staff. I'm sure Reaper's helping out, but Westrice is, with all of his veteran knowledge of the game, is really making them look good.
And, you talk about Fudge, we look at what kind of the Oceanic League has been providing in Triple, King, Fudge, Lost. A lot of those show up on your radar quite a bit when you're talking about players coming in Academy League or even on that LCS stage. So an interesting bunch to look at, and we'll get to see how they do heading into game right after this champion select. Now we're going to take the 5-minute break to preserve competitive integrity, and then we'll get right back into the game with Joshi and myself and cast it live for you. So don't go anywhere. Don't touch that browser. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Academy Showcase. We're here at Game 5. It is Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses. And as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us during the 5-minute breaks where we preserve competitive integrity for all of the games going on throughout LCS, throughout Academy, and make sure everything is happening the right way. Please continue to give your feedback on Twitter or wherever. We're always listening and we're always iterating to make it better for you. Myself and Joshi here to bring you the games today, and we're about to get into Game 5.
All right, Rav, this is the highlight game for the day. And I have to say that I feel like we have a highlight lane already brewing here in the mid lane. Palafox on LeBlanc, Giyu on Qiyana. This is going to be one bloody game. It could very easily determine how all the side lanes are determined, because both these mid laners not only love to fight, but they love to roam.
Yeah, very, very true. You get movement speed from what element you have on Qiyana, and LeBlanc just being LeBlanc, able to dash over whatever she wants. And you can see the mid laners right there, Giyu and Palafox on your screen, ready to face off again in the mid lane. This looks like a big line of scrimmage here for the first game. Really, all our games haven't had too much level 1 trickery.
Yeah, I think the only one was our very first game of the day with CLG, where, we just saw a couple of wards ended up getting traded as everybody just grouped up as 5 and just like, hey, let's see what there is to see. But in this game, Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses just very happy to just move to opposite sides of the jungle, let both of their junglers start the red buff, and potentially look to start fighting at one of these grabs. So, not a whole lot of surprises overall.
Quick take there. They should know that Rek'Sai started on the bot side now due to a late entrance into that bot side. Nice little fight in the mid lane to start things off. Like it.
Yeah,
Dash back to his distortion. At first I thought it was a mimic, and I was like, is he actually that low already? But he just flashed back to his distortion with W.
You're like, oh, okay, wait.
I was like, what kind of damage did he do?
Those kind of characters like the LeBlanc or the Shaco, and you're just like, wait, which one is going on? I remember I was watching I'm trying to remember what game it was, but, even some of the pros were getting confused because the Shen kept ulting the LeBlanc claw, and it's like, wait, guys, that's the wrong one. But ultimately, it still gets you where you're going, and Shen would show up. But Giyu pushed in underneath the turret. A little bit rough, seeing as LeBlanc, well known for having kind of a weak level 1 a lot of the time, but when you're a melee champion, you can't necessarily do a whole lot about that.
No, you just take the auto attacks to start things off. That's why I'm always very impressed for, not so much like an Akali or an Echo, but people can take those basically near melee champions and play it up against the long range. Yeah,
and Qiyana, unfortunately, needs a couple of abilities to really have the mobility to actually contest with this character, whereas Palafox, gets that mobility starting at level 1, and with the auto attacks coming through, Diamond and King just kind of happy to do that. Oh, is this a dive?
It's either a dive or a hangout. They took a little bit to take him down, but it is going to happen. The slow is there, the flash is out, and it's not going to be hot enough to take him down. Fudge gets out with a good chunk of health, so he can stay and help push the turret down, and that'll be a plate. Oh, maybe not. That's got to be a teleport.
Teleport.
Still all right, that
here's
early.
Another dive. Onda still has the repel, so he's got a lot of tools to get away from the turret. But good job. Just going to be walking on out from that one. This one might be a play, but even then, it's a little bit difficult now that Diamond and King can walk right on back. But they did end up blowing the heal. So overall, good CS lead coming out for Deathly.
Yeah, I was going to say, a great denial there. And the minions, Giyu getting chained up. Going to be oh my word, and Nori! Why wouldn't he go in? He gets the heal from Triumph, and that's going to be amazing for him.
This is what we look for when we see this kind of solo queue composition coming from a team of the caliber of Cloud9 Academy. Everybody needs to make individual plays. People need to go for these kills, and Inori getting out with less than 50 HP off of that because he knew he just needed a little bit of damage, able to come up with a kill and find themselves 1,000 gold. He's 2-0 on this Rek'Sai already.
And Matt's not giving up on the bot side. Oh, they should be able to take him down with that. He is dead with the Ignite ticking through. Tries to make it look classy, but how many, I should say, what hooks have been dodged by Matt down here this game? He has been hitting everyone. He even threw the one that was gonna miss. Diamond threw up a shield, which made him a bit wider. That allowed Matt to hit it. So he is feeling himself right now, and he is ready to throw a few more out. The minion waves have been crashing in, and look at that discrepancy building.
And you questioned at the very beginning, is like, can Deathly and Matt stand up to King, who has been one of the standout performers in Academy? And so far, the answer is resoundingly yes. Now, they did get a little bit of help in Onda coming down, but that just blew a heal. That just got King and Diamond to walk away from a little bit of experience, and they're still finding kills on their own. So if they can continue this up, the fact that Inori is getting fed might not matter if Deathly later on in the game comes out with like 6 full items.
Right, that's what you should be saying about King later on in the game, right? It's kind of like they're leaving themselves open for the hooks to get hit in a lane where they should be safe right now, and they're not playing safe. They should be looking on to later on in the game, and Deathly's getting there a lot quicker at this point. Brandini with a searing charge gets himself to safety. 9.1 to 8.3. Already 1,000 gold lead here with what has gone down. Another chain to mid. And Giyu's not coming up on those. He thinks maybe Asima's a bit closer. And Inori is also there to trade with him. A lot of movement in the early part of the game. Nobody's really making the mid laners move. They're all going to the mid laners as we see a fight top. And they're just really, I should say, Fudge trying to get a few abilities out of Brandini.
Yeah, not even going to get the flash, though, so still going to be happy with the situation. But Brandini almost entirely out of mana, but now he's level 6, and no flash left on Fudge. So if Onda or Giyu want to come up to this top lane, it's a big opportunity for them to potentially find a kill onto Set. But he's manaless and got a lot of base regen, so the window is already starting to close.
Well, that discrepancy in the bot lane at least can be picked up a little bit here by Fudge. 50 to 38 in that CS. Brandini also missing the volcanic rupture on the cannon minion. I hate to see it. And Mountain's going to get picked up. See what we'll have here on the next one. I'm going to guess Cloud. And we'll have
that's
an
a
Infernal.
good guess.
Oh, it's Goshen. We still could get Infernal,
That's
though.
all right. Still could get Infernal. Can still get the 50-50 there. But Inori looking to go in. Potential. Ooh, not quite getting the unburrow.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah, I
clear by
think
Brandini.
that's going to be... Oh, Palafox is here.
Oh, he cleared the minions, but he's just one left. That one minion betrayed him. Oh, my word. It was just enough for them to stay and play. How unfortunate there for Brandini as he goes down once again. TP's down as well, so that's going to be a long walk to a minion wave crashing into his turret.
Yeah, I feel like there's not a whole lot more that he could have done. I mean, he did have his flash available to maybe try and break the chain, but even then, there's still so much that you're contending with, and that's 2 plates going over to Fudge. Now 0-0-2, double longsword, and picking up at least 2 plates here, maybe a third.
Another one by Matt. Finally starting to dodge out on those hooks. They're not really worrying about brush control too much. I think they know they're going to get pushed back to their turret mainly. Catherine Rain's going to do that on its own. It Deathly's hitting Qs. Another hook comes out here. It Deathly's actually holding that Catherine Rain to make sure he doesn't push the wave. So smart play there by him and just farming it out and attacking when Matt goes in.
Yeah, he wants to build up this wave a little bit to pull it back so that they know like they are going to be getting some attention soon. They've already given a large enough lead to Fudge in the top lane. They don't need to spend more time for Inori up there. There's already 3 turrets gone. So now Inori and Palafox both freed up to start moving around the map, and with the top lane already pretty much decided, that just leaves 1 more lane that they need to start paying attention to, and you can already see Inori coming down here. Deathly and Matt want to make sure that they are close enough to their turret that their opponents are forced to dive rather than just catching them out in the open.
Oh, Diamond will see that. No, King? No one's looking. They're just going mid. They don't care if they're seeing at this point. They're just swapping the map up. It looks like it's going to be all pings onto Rift Herald. So vision or not, they're heading towards that spot.
Yeah, it definitely feels like John Wick there. Just men of pure focus and determination. They are going into the mid lane, and there is nothing anybody can do to stop it.
I like what they did, though. It's like a sight fake. They go mid, and then they went bot. They knew they were walking through vision before and suspect they didn't walk through anything bottom. So right now, it's a swap as EG leave, and now I guess C9 can play it safe, having them out of lane to just keep farming. King was having a bit of trouble before, but pick up some CS.
Interesting, yeah. Deathly and Matt, now that there's like, well, there's no reason for us to be here, I guess we'll go right on back. It's still, you know, close to 25 CS lead for Deathly, which is nothing to scoff at, but here they come. Here's Onda.
I was going to say, overall, nothing happened because of this, but now Diamond's going to go down since I cursed him. Oh, my word. They get taken down on what was just a walk in the jungle, man. They were trying to have fun. He still gets hit by the Supreme Display of Talent, and then it's going to be King going down as well.
Wow, all right, Brandini's gotten dove twice so far. Inori and Fudge are starting to push in the lane to potentially go for it again. They're looking to try and trade things back. They already summoned the Rift Herald, so they are going to be picking up the first turret of the game. Make sure that the Evil Geniuses doesn't have an opportunity to do so. But they might, like, if Fudge wants to go for it, he has his flash, and he can use that ultimate to pull Brandini far away from the structures.
Our last few games, the junglers have been having a heyday. We saw last game. Very strong in the jungle with Spica from TSM now. Nori, rather, starting off at 3-0-0 with a matching bounty. Very nice to have there as he's picking up CS and staying pretty close to Honda in that CS as he's still getting the ganks in the fights.
And he's already picked up the Warrior. He's going to be doing quite a bit of damage now. He has chosen to go with the Conqueror, so he is going to be a little bit more sturdy in these longer fights and missing out on a little bit of burst damage, which is part of why you sometimes see the Hail of Blades coming through. So he will be more relevant later on in the game, which is exactly what they are looking to do. They already have the power right now. They just need to make sure that they have the power later as well. So with so many damage threats coming out from Cloud9, they're looking to be in a strong position as they start to set up for this Dragon, which is spawning in 40 seconds, and they are definitely in a position to fight for it.
Palafox mana depleted as he gets transferred blue buff over from Inori. You probably guessed it. Or I'm sorry, that was actually from Fudge. A good bit of teamwork there as we see Fudge heading towards the top side of the map again.
Oop.
Again, engaged towards bot side. Kathy and Rain goes down. Glacial Fisher comes back out, and maybe that was kind of a taunt to say, we'll use it, and here comes a Nori. They do get the flash out of Matt, a slow on it, definitely in the flash from him, so everything pays off for Cloud9.
I like the patience coming from Inori, not committing his flash because he knows that definitely is waiting to reaction flash it. Ooh, barely missing out is Matt, but Inori gets the flash for free, and now that just means that the next time these guys look to tussle with this Ocean Dragon available, it's a much easier target to lock onto. And we see both junglers hanging around, both mid laners looking to get some priority so that they can start teleporting, and Fudge making sure that Brandini can't get anywhere near the bottom. Oh, King.
Oh, right onto King immediately as the cocoon. The rest of the follow-up damage is there, and Diamond cannot protect the 360. He can only protect it coming from one way, and everybody had gotten behind him to start. 5-3 now as Evil Geniuses start to find their way under C9 skin after that 1,000 gold lead. Actually still stands. Supreme's talent going out as they bring him away from the turret, and an instant deletion here of Giyu in the mid lane. They're going to find a few more, possibly at least coming down in a bad spot. That's a double kill coming in now for Inori on this Rek'Sai. 5-0-0. I think we're still waiting for the bounty to update. There it is.
The big play coming through from Cloud9 means that the Ocean Dragon is still available. The members of EG who are trying to take this objective now were forced to try and move towards the mid lane to try and support the team, but they died so quickly there wasn't an opportunity to do so. And the mistakes that King and Diamond have been suffering through, now a combined 0-5-0, are being picked up by the fact that you have a 5-0-0 in Nori, 500 gold lead, continuing to match his score to his bounty. But we gotta see, can Matt continue to play to this ultimate level that he's been showing so far? He's landing all of these hooks, and he and Deftly are looking so strong. We said they were solid, but not necessarily this kind of aggression.
No, not at all. And usually you're happy to be hooked in as Braum, but EG is making it work. Definitely with this Hail of Blades coming out, is just able to pop King with those plasma bursts almost immediately as they get up on him. So they got to be careful of that damage. Now out of lane, and may help them a little bit more that Ezreal can have some more space to work with and really get himself to a spot where he can farm. Picking that up, he's going to be about 35 CS behind, all things considered. And we'll see how fast he can catch up.
Well, he does need to be careful right now with so many members of Evil Geniuses hanging out in the mid part of the map. It looks like they are looking to potentially go for the Rift Herald, second Rift Herald, which is going to be spawning fairly soon. And again, Fudge and Brandini, now that's the map, not necessarily been getting as much attention recently after the big couple of dives that we saw. But Fudge has the Blade of the Ruined King completed, and the Sunfire Cape is down on Brandini. So we'll see how effective this is going to be for Fudge, as he's going to have an opportunity to start beating down on this turret up against his opponent, or using his teleport advantage, move out and help the rest of his team.
All right, we'll get a few backs. Let's see what core items we get coming in. Looks like that stone plate coming in from Matt. He just wants a bunch of resistances as he is throwing hook after hook. Not too much. Not even a core item for Diamond here. He's been having trouble to get himself up just to cool down on the Kindle Gem to try and throw more out with the Tabis. And you really can't even run with the boots with Braum this time on mobility. Costs a little bit more, and you're having trouble even keeping yourself in lane.
Yeah, and we'll see how tanky Matt gets once he has that Gargoyle Stone Plate completed. And I'm curious to see like what Evil Geniuses are trying to do, because they're definitely the team that you look to have these big team fights going. They're the ones with the front to back. They're the ones with a reasonable dive composition, right? You have Kiana and Kaisa can both access the squishy members of Cloud9's backline, so King and Palafox need to be careful. But I'm seeing a little bit of a hesitance for them to actually pull the trigger, and they're grouping at times when there's not things to fight over. The Cloud Dragon doesn't spawn for 2 minutes, and Brandini is already coming into the mid lane when there's not even a Rift Herald for them to fight over.
Right. Slowly losing a bit of pressure around the map, especially bot lane. We see Set going in on the turret, but they could just get a quick kill. Oh my word, if you blink, you missed it. King goes down, and it's gonna be Giyu that steals his crown on that one. Holy fast was that, Joshi. I cannot believe what I just saw as we were like, hey, look at the pressure they're gaining so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they shut me up real quick. I mean, we saw that they were going... Kiana was just sitting over the wall, and I don't know if you saw it, because I definitely definitely didn't see it until it was too late, and I was just as surprised as King and Diamond were, and was like, oh, wait, what? There is a Kiana there, and now we are both stunned on the wrong side of the wall. So they pick up a quick turret, grab themselves 2 kills, and it is a little bit more diversified than the kills going over Cloud9. You see 3 going over to Giyu, you see 2 on... Oh, well, you don't see Giyu anymore. But anyway, you see 2 onto Onda still, so there's plenty of opportunities for them to get diversified damage up against their opponents. But we also saw Palafox. Like, Palafox didn't need to be fed in order to do that. He was 0-0-4, and that's his first kill of the game.
Exactly. That's a huge point. I'm glad you pointed that out. And he knew it could happen, too. Electrocute coming on top of that with the Ignite. That's a 1-2-3 punch, and he was able to deliver it. And after a few kills for Giyu, so he got himself a bit of a shutdown, I believe. And he can now work with that towards top lane. And now they know you can't really mess with Palafox unless you bring more than one person, even at 0-0-4, it seems. Now 1-0-4.
Yeah, this is where we're starting to get into the point of the game where Cloud9 wants to leverage their ability to 1-3-1 with both Set and LeBlanc, because it's difficult. The people that you would look at to try and match them, right, are going to be Kiana and the Ornn, but they aren't nearly as strong on average, right? Like, Kiana is looking to blow up these guys, and Palafox has got the Secret Arm Guard fully stacked. Fudge is very powerful. It's just got a lot of health that Kiana would have to deal with, and you don't want Ornn sidelaning all that.
Oh my word. So much follow-up damage. Ludens, Electrocute, hits from Palafox. They take down the mid turret, and Onda almost lost his life immediately to Palafox if he was able to connect more abilities. And now we see definitely an Onda staying on the backside. Keep him safe. Brandini's pretty much a wall between as well, as Matt now takes up that job.
Now Cloud9, they're chunking out Onda so they have an opportunity to go turn around and start hitting this Cloud Dragon. It's not the end-all be-all of the game, but just getting it along so they can start picking up that soul, start pushing towards that Elder Dragon is going to be very helpful. And I'm curious to see, Evil Geniuses were hovering around as though they were looking to fight, but they're not actually going to commit to it. Instead, they finally send Giyu and Onda off to farm out a little bit to try and get some pushing going into the enemy turret. But this is part of why Cloud9 have been so successful, is their decisiveness, their ability to follow anybody who wants to make a play, and just now Evil Geniuses are finally going to get a little bit back, and it's going to help, but it's still going to leave them with a deficit.
Top's grabbed, and it does not look like Cloud9 will fall into this trap. Obviously, the top side of the map is completely EG wards. I don't think anybody's fallen for that trap. It's only going to be Palafox that heads out safely into lane to get some clears in. And we'll see how they take through this vision. Cloud9, they don't in any way, as bot lane was getting taken down, as anything else was happening, they don't seem like they're pushing themselves into any aggressive plays. They're scared to do things, or they're backing off too much. Now, obviously, you have Inori at 5-0-0. That helps to have that Rek'Sai. But looking at how bad the early game was bot lane for them, they didn't really do too much to rectify it. They just got Palafox to a place where he could start really being a nuisance and let him out.
Yeah, it really is. Like, LeBlanc is a champion that actually scales fantastically, just because later on in the game, LeBlanc will start blowing up Brandini too, right? Partly because he's going to build a lot of physical resistances, because you got 3 auto attackers that he's trying to deal with, but just the fact that Palafox, like, once you have all that AP, once you have all the pen, it's just such massive AP ratios that it's so difficult for anybody to stand up to it. So as long as Palafox is doing reasonably well, they have a win condition of just deleting a member of the EG roster. And now, going back a little bit to the 1-3-1, but you got a double split push. Inori is shadowing Palafox in the top half of the map, so that Brandini has to be extra careful about tangling.
You can keep King and Diamond together. You're right. It is interesting to see kind of the 2-2-1 with that being a jungler, but I think it helps maybe even to have the tremor sense, right? And you can hop over the wall. You don't expect LeBlanc to even think you're there, but she has the idea of tremor sense. So a little teamwork does not pay off just yet. EG is just as tentative as going into jungle. They don't have vision of as C9 was, as we saw them coming out of base. 2.5 for the Cloud, and I didn't even see I was wrong. I thought it was going to be Infernal this game. I'm kind of sad, but we get our 3rd Cloud Drake soul of the day. It's all right.
It's okay. It's all right. It's still something that people will try and fight for. And
we have been getting fights for it, right?
We have, yeah. A lot of people have been going for it. The ultimate cooldown, even though it's not necessarily the most generally useful thing, it's definitely something that always helps, and getting Cloud Soul, having that extra movement speed, is nice as well. But I also think it's just a little bit of habit from the players, right? It's kind of like you want to get towards the end game, and picking up free objectives is always a good thing. You know, extra power doesn't matter where it's coming from. If you have it, you can still play with it. But now EG moving up in force over near the Baron. There's no top lane turret for them to take down, so it's just expeditionary force in order to try and get the vision control down, and Onda does finally find that pink ward is Fudge still on the bottom side, slowly building a lead up against Brandini, but it is very, very slowly.
Nori cruising. Where are they deciding to go? Pings around Baron. All right, a little bit of vision to start off here and see how much they can tempt evil geniuses into blowing some ultimates, or even the other way around. EG definitely has a good amount of engaged tools. We haven't seen the Orin Horn come together with the depth charge and a supreme display of talent. Like, there is a long time you could be locked down from this EG squad. It just seems like Cloud9 knows it, and they have now, as we saw, the 1-3-1, the 2-2-1 as Rek'Sai follows LeBlanc. They're not going to give EG that gigantic fight.
Yeah, they really don't want to. I'm a little bit surprised they're not more proactively creating vision for Fudge, right? Because he is kind of their big split pusher that they're looking at in the opposite side of the map, because he's got that teleport. He wants to be fighting up against the Ornn, but he's kind of been pushing blind, and so if the rest of his team aren't setting themselves up in a little bit of a risky situation, creating pressure, Fudge can't really create a whole lot of pressure of his own. He can push past the river, but once he's done that, he's just kind of waiting for the rest of his team to be in a spot ready to fight. As we see a teleport coming through, as Ezreal just rejoining the rest of his team. 15 seconds until the dragon spawns.
Well, here's that grouping we thought might happen a little bit later for C9, but they say no. Cloud Drake, that's what we want to fight for. So they are on it. They're going to leave Baron open for a moment, but obviously can get themselves up here. And it's going to be a back and forth. They're going to start hitting it. Brandini's first in line. Definitely opens up onto it as EU is looking to run interception from the inside of the jungle. Around the outside goes Palafox. They feel like they can have the run here as it's only Fudge on the Dragon. And Nori goes down immediately. That's a 500 gold shutdown for Deftly. Big pockets for him as he gets a second kill coming in and a bounty of his own.
Palafox is still sitting around the outside. He does a lot of damage. Definitely hasn't spent that money yet. And Fudge going to be backing away, should be teleporting in. They can't afford to give this up, and they still have people coming through. They're trapped in the pit. This could be a disaster for EG.
As soon as they got that 5v5, they go, oh my word, the damage from the distortion, and Nanda coming in or going out as well. That was disgusting. from King, Fudge, and the rest of the team. Palafox goes down, and Cloud9 somehow almost stand alone at Baron. Matt's standing there, and it's not like he can do much with the dredge lines he's been throwing. They've been fantastic, but at Baron, they mean nothing, and he gets chased out by King. It is Fudge on a one-man mission, and the Baron is healing faster than he can damage it, but he's just hoping other people get over here so they can kill the damn thing and get themselves Baron. A few members have spawned as well. Palafox will be the only one without Baron.
And again, this is what we're looking at with these kind of compositions. You're looking at these big plays. Palafox goes in and blows up basically everyone on the EG roster.
Gross.
Fudge piles on top, and again, just like this AoE, everybody caught up in the pit, but without the ability to really turn. They don't have the tools they need to lock down and continue picking up kills. And what looked good, finding 2 members, killing the jungler, ends up turning into that disaster of everybody dying in the pit and giving over the objective you had set up so hard for.
I love the smile on Palafox's face down there. It goes with those plays. Holy moly. Didn't even have Ignite up for that, so couldn't get a priority target down fully, but that was a good 2,000 damage spread across the entirety of EG's team. Easy 400 chunks, 500 chunks in there. Wow. And you were saying it can happen to anybody on the team. They haven't been mitigating for it. Now we just see the magic resistance coming in a little bit for Onda as he realizes what is actually coming at him.
Yeah, I have to imagine that that's going to be turning into a Banshee's Veil fairly soon. But it is important to remember, EG did get a lot of gold into Deathly's pocket. He picked up that big shutdown onto Inori, so he is a big player in this game once again. We've seen how quickly he can blow individuals up. 2, 1, and 5, going with a more magic damage focused build, naturally due to the fact that he's already got Giyu, who's going to be blowing people up as they start to go over the wall. Look at the damage that Palafox is able to put into Brandini, right? He's only got the Negatron, which is, you know, nice, but not as nice as just being LeBlanc and blowing through people. I don't even know if this guy can get out. Oh, he can. He just walks away. Nobody wants to challenge.
No one is even gonna probably help either. We saw Definitely close by, or sorry, Giyu, and he was like, I might have you, but I hope you can repel out to safety. Cloud9's able to pretty much step up to the turrets now and take whatever they want. The bot lane didn't really matter. They're still 40 CS behind, but King's now firing out full mirror amount of damage with the Triforce and the Lucidity Boots behind that, so it's coming out even quicker than you would expect.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do. Brandini going with the Call of Forge God.
Depth charge, Forge God. He doesn't even hit the ground. Fudge is just staying completely airborne on this one, and he goes down overall. A toss of the anchor coming in. Inori gets pulled back for a moment, but they don't fully want the Queen of the Xur side just yet on the side of EG. They go back to clearing out the minion waves. Top lane's pushed pretty far. Bot and mid need a little bit of work for EG here, or they risk losing a fight and losing the base.
Yeah, it looked pretty hype coming up from Fudge, but just not enough damage. Nobody there to follow up, just making sure that nobody else will end up dying in his, you know, stepping a little bit too far. But still, Cloud9 very happy with the situation. Big power play, now 5,000 gold ahead and 1 dragon away from Cloud Soul, which would be very nice. Just having that extra movement speed. We've seen how impactful it can be when these fights are dragging on and just trying to chase people down. Movement speed, very good in that situation. But 5, 1, and 0 still on Inori. 2, 1, and 5. And it's interesting to see where the deaths are for the different teams, because they're fairly spread out for Evil Geniuses, but they are very concentrated in the bot lane right now for Cloud9. And as we say that, we have to note that they haven't died in about 10-15 minutes.
That's true. Once they broke the lane, it seemed to be the success they needed to not get hooked by Matt over and over again. Now he's just hooking other people, but it's from their own base, and it's not as meaningful as it was in the lane. You know, that's support life, though. You do a lot of awesome stuff, and you just watch everything burn around you. 11 28 and a half minutes into this, and we'll see what happens. 5k gold in the lead. The initiations are coming from EG, and they lose Definitely immediately. Sorry, that was Fudge from C9 as he got onto Definitely. Seeing that incorrectly as Matt then goes down. Just coming from the top side of the map so fast off directed camera. I was like, here goes EG. Oh, wait. Fudge is behind enemy lines once again. 3, 1, and 7 after that fight for himself.
Yeah, it looked like Definitely dived onto King, but the Fudge was right there. Pressed the R, and, you know, it is still a suppression. You still have to respect it quite a bit. And the Cloud Soul now sitting in Cloud9's inventory. They're going to have an opportunity to push while Definitely Matt and Onda are looking to respawn in base. And Fudge looking to be a little bit aggressive. Brandini forced to searing charge his way on out, and this should be at least 2 inhibitors going.
I like that. He like punched him in the arm, and then he just runs away. Like, I got you. Inhibitors
Charlie
are
horse.
going down. Yeah. Well, he's going to be coming back. Seems like he might have a limp, but that's just Ornn. That's going to be a hit up onto Giyu. He doesn't live for very long in this possible last fight as Cloud9 is in the base to end the race. He's going to fall quickly after one after the other. Brandini's next to go down, one of the tankiest members on the team, and the Nexus turrets will soon follow as C9 looks to move it to 13-4 as they head into playoffs.
Yeah, securing themselves a bye as they take down EG. It just felt like one big fight started and then just never stopped until the game was over, and Cloud9 is able to secure it. Big performances coming out from Fudge and Nori and Palafox this game, and there's a reason why these guys have been the uncontested first seed for most of the split, and this has been a dominant performance with a composition you weren't necessarily expecting to see this kind of coordination to come from.
Absolutely. And as you said, Cloud9 are able to lock that in. Just looking at the scoreboards, they moved to 13-4. And we'll look at this a little bit later too, but there's only 2 games left. So anybody below them that can't even reach 13, that's everyone. It's going to be tough. Is going up against them as they move into the playoffs. We see those score lines right now. You know, Evil Geniuses coming up with a victory. That's going to feel great for them. And just the rest. I'm sorry, Cloud9 coming up with a victory. I'm sorry. And Evil Geniuses with the chance to tomorrow, as I should say.
Yeah, the big thing, though, is we still have 2 teams looking to secure their spot in playoffs. Team Liquid at 8-9 and FlyQuest at 7-10. FlyQuest needs to win a game. They need to win. So Team Liquid, you know, they would obviously love to win, but even if they don't win, just gotta pay attention to what their opponents are doing. So ultimately, things are finally shaking out. We have most of our spots determined, and now it's just a question of who gets a bye, who gets to continue playing.
And to go over those standings a little bit,
have.
Cloud9 obviously leading the pack going into the last day of the regular season at 13-4, as we see Dignitas in second at 11-6. And with their losses, looking at some of the other teams, Evil Geniuses and TSM being tied in third, 100 Thieves and Team Liquid tied in 5th and 6th. The team's followed by FlyQuest currently sitting in 7th. But they're all hoping to make that 6th place spot from Team Liquid tomorrow. Can it be a possibility? We're going to have to take a look at the schedule. As you see, 100 Thieves playing first against Counterlogic Gaming, so a little bit of spoiler to play there. I'm always thinking of Counterlogic Gaming as the guys standing up at the top of the podium with everybody else that's made it, because they're allowed in, and they're the one picking the ladder up from all these teams that want to try and get in. They're playing spoiler, and they have some work to do tomorrow against 100 Thieves to do that.
They really do. Look, going down the line, Golden Guardians is going to be taking on FlyQuest shortly after that. Now, this is not just for fun. Remember, FlyQuest can still win based off of tiebreakers, so they need to pick up this game if they want to have a chance to make the playoffs. Dignitas and TSM continue to jockey for position in the seedings as Cloud9 takes on Team Liquid as our 4th game of the day. I mean, Team Liquid, they don't have to win the game, but if they do, it just makes their life that much easier. They can still keep everything in their own hands, and to round out the day, Evil Geniuses and Immortals will be our last game of the day as Week 9, Day 2 comes to a close.
It's gone so quick, and all the necessary tiebreakers will be played at the end of the day. If you were wondering, so just be ready for those to go the long haul. We always get some tiebreakers, right? It's just how it happens.
Always are. It's Academy.
So that does it for us here, everybody. Joshi, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. I hope you had a really fun time.
Oh, I did. I can't wait to see how these guys do. Can't wait to do this again. But Riv, it's been a blast, and cheers to all the teams, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for bearing with all of these changes as we bring you the best remote League of Legends possible and all of the action that we can. Let us know how you think we can improve at LOL Esports, at LCS Official. We'll get all of those tweets and infos in, or however you want to message us on the interwebs. Hit us up. Now for myself, Joshi, and the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow and this weekend. Tomorrow for Academy Showcase, and this weekend for LCS. Take care.